How would you feel if you had been dumped by a significant other after loving them for a long time? Well, that is how coral feels with all the bleaching going on right now in the world. So why should you care about coral bleaching? Well, coral reefs are extremely important to us. More than 500 million people worldwide rely on them for food, tourism, and employment. It also provides shelter and is home for approximately 25% of fish in the ocean. So now that begs the question, what are coral reefs? Corals are invertebrate animals that are comprised of tiny colonies that are genetically identical. They are made up of a simple structure called a polyp. The polyp secretes calcium carbonate, which gives coral protections and allow other corals to attach. They also contain an algae called zooxanthellae. There is a symbiotic relationship between the algae and the coral. The characteristic color of corals come from these algae. So let's talk about the bleaching process. The bleaching process essentially involves the pigment-rich zooxanthellae leaving the coral blooms. As the algae is expelled, it exposes the white calcium carbonate surface of the corals, producing the characteristic bleached look. Prolonged exposure to the environment without its algae makes the coral weaker and susceptible to disease. It slowly dies without its food source. There are 4 chemicals in the pigment-rich zooxanthellae that help the algae produce food for itself and for the coral. These 4 pigments help absorb radiation from the sun, driving photosynthesis. So what are the factors that can cause bleaching in corals? Well, there are 3 major factors that cause bleaching. The first factor is temperature. As global temperatures increase, it causes algae stress levels to increase, which expel algae away from the corals. Prolonged temperature change of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius during the summer can cause stress levels to go up. In addition, winter temperature dips can also increase stress in the algae. The second factor is ocean acidification. Absorption of CO2 by seawater decreases the pH, causing the water to become more acidic. This increases the algae stress levels. Lastly, the last factor is UV radiation. Simply put, increased levels of UV radiation cause an increase in photosynthesis, but this causes an increase in nitrous oxide production, which causes poisoning. Therefore, the algae become more stressed. So while there are no concrete solutions to the coral reef bleaching, there are preventative measures that can be taken. As we all know, global climate changes caused by carbon emissions can lead to rising ocean temperatures and ocean acidification. The key to remediation involves reducing greenhouse gases through the use of renewable and sustained energy. To sum it up, coral bleaching is an issue that affects us heavily, but we can all take steps to reduce bleaching. That way, we can all have some happy coral.